Hello, and welcome to today's live session. This is the Passive Income with Content channel. Whether you're here on Facebook, whether you're here on YouTube, we talk about content in any form or fashion. As you'll see today, we can provide content in a different way, in an automated way that will make people love us, and you'll see that we'll be able to grow our audience. And we're going to be talking about one simple tool to make your website a sales and marketing machine. As always, if you're on YouTube watching the replay, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want notifications, go ahead and click that little bell, and that will notify you every single time a new video gets posted. What's the goal to aim for online? Think about that. If you're here live, go ahead and type into the chat box, or if you're on the replay, you can go ahead and comment what's a goal to aim for online. I know that that's a pretty general question, but what comes to mind when you are asked what would be a goal? Okay, Sue says to make money, Paolo says make sales, Janet says more subscribers, more money. Actually, Janet, you're on the right track as far as today's topic, because that should be one of your major goals, is to collect emails easily. And I'm going to say, to make this different from any other video you watch or training you watch about collecting emails, I'm going to say in a non-threatening way. So what do I mean in a non-threatening way? And collecting emails is never really threatening, but you've seen it, I've seen it, when you go online and you see like a big, what we call a squeeze page, right? There might be a video, it might be long, it might be short, and it might be somebody saying, hey, I'm going to give you this. All I want from you is your email address. Not that it's threatening, but it's a very old school technique. Still definitely works, but people are kind of wise to that, and they're not always giving up their email address so quickly anymore. So because there's so many people just trying to collect email addresses and have promises or empty promises. And don't get me wrong, some of these pages that we land on are phenomenal, and they really give high value information behind the curtains, right? But we just have to give up our email address when we want to see behind the curtains. In the beginning, when I first started marketing online, there was a very smart marketer. I was very early in my marketing stages, but I realized what this guy was doing when it came to this technique that he was using online. So basically, he was sharing a tool that he had, that where all you'd have to do was enter your URL, you'd enter your name, and you'd enter your email for this tool to quickly take your URL and index it to Google with a click of a button. Now, for those of you who don't know what indexing a URL is, it's just allowing Google to kind of see that your website is there, and it'll start picking it up. So the more you post to it, the more Google is going to, they like your site, they're going to show your site in the search engine. So you really want your URL to be indexed so that Google shows your content. What he was doing was just, asking a simple question or three in this example. And you see how this is like a non-threatening way to collect email addresses, because you're actually using some sort of tool. And in order to get the results of that tool, you have to enter your email address for everything to work, right? So maybe he says something like, I don't remember the exact software or what it did, but I just remember this was the functionality and this is what he was doing behind it. Like, let me send your results to this email. Just go ahead and give me your email for everything to kind of work together. This I saw very, very early. That's something that was really smart. Some marketers would argue that this might not be the best way to capture emails, or you might not be getting the best quality of emails because anybody and anyone can use this tool and you're not really sure how to target them. Like, just because they're interested in indexing their site to Google doesn't mean you know exactly what to do to market them when you have their email, right? So there's a lot that goes kind of behind this, but if you have some kind of tool that's targeting a specific crowd, you should have an idea of what these people are interested in when it comes to growing their online business. They'd be interested in SEO information or what content to put on their blog, because you already have the information that they have a website, so you can deduce, from there. The other day, I actually been getting lots of emails from Adidas. I don't know how I ended up on their list, but they have this site. It's called Runtastic. But it's not just about running, it's about just, health in general, exercises. I think they're building content around pushing an online fitness app that looks pretty cool and very affordable. So what they're doing behind their marketing is they're just providing a ton of content. Like they have this really great article about rowing, like the rower, and I read it because I know how to row, but I never know like how to do the settings on the rower, and I was interested in it, and it gave me that information. So I started to click around, and I noticed that they have these health and fitness calculators, BMI calculator, the liquid requirement calculator. I guess it tracks like how much water you're drinking, protein intake, heart rate calculator, energy expenditure. Who the heck knows what that means? How are you tracking that? All these things, like look at this sleep calculator card. There's more down. I just took a screenshot of the first 8 apps, but I think there was like 12 or even more down the page. I wanted to use this as an example because it's exactly what I'm talking about today, is using simple tools in your business and collecting emails in a non-threatening way, because people are utilizing your tools, and the only way that they get the benefit of using the tool, or maybe get the information that they're looking for, the results, whatever, you have to send it somewhere, right? And you send it to an email address. So these could be anything from like calculators, quizzes, anything that automates something, trackers, apps. One of the things that I say to do is like think very small if you don't have a grand idea for a robust tool, which you might, I don't know. The best way, if you've never done this before, is to think of like solving one problem. So you don't want to like go into this and say, oh, I'm going to build like an app that does a million different things, because number one, it's going to take very long to create. And number two is you want to get something out and get something rolling, see if you have traction in your marketplace, right? So think of something that maybe you can solve one problem with one solution with your tool. So I built around 10 applications in my business over the last 10 years. And probably less, because I didn't start creating software until about 2 years into my business. And the first one created was Book Review Targeter, which was another tool under a different name. And it was actually a completely different application. The first one I built was an Adobe Air application, which nobody does anymore. For some reason, Adobe Air is like out of style. I don't know why. And then the new Book Review Targeter became a web-based tool, more like a SaaS, software as a service. So where anytime you see SaaS, that means like it's web-based. Anyone could use it. Mac PCs usually have some kind of login where you go and you can have your own account and everything, right? Some of the applications I've built in different formats for both Macs and PCs, This has been something that I'm very well versed in, and this is something that anyone could really do, and you just need to kind of have a little bit of guidance. So I always say and recommend you can get some kind of coach or someone that you can advise that has the knowledge behind doing something before you have to throw yourself into it without specifically knowing everything to do. And you can kind of get a head start if you have someone to work, one-on-one with. I'm wondering if you might have some kind of idea and you would like to know like how to execute it or how to get your idea made simply and easily. And who do you trust? Trust is a huge factor when you are not a programmer. So I'm not a programmer. I hit many stumbling blocks along the way because it's a little bit dangerous to work with someone you don't know and you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know coding and things like that, someone can say, oh yeah, this will take 5 months to build, but you don't know that maybe it could take 2 months to build. So it's scary not knowing what you don't know. If you've never built an app before, don't go in and start building 100 different functionalities of your app. What type do you create, like an app or a web-based app or SaaS or downloadable? Maybe a JavaScript app, which I've done a lot of. And then what's your business model? Do you give it away for free? Or do you have a free trial? Or do you charge for it? These are all things that need to be well thought out before you even start building your application. And like I said, it's something where if you have an idea, you should start very, very simple with it and then grow from there. Like my newest tool called Book Connect, it's a SaaS web-based, right? It only started off with 3 functions, really, or one main function broken up into like 3 parts. It was really started as a solution to deliver books to people in any file format. And then from there, I'm like, ooh, what if it can do this? And what if it can do this? And what if it can do this? And what if it can do this? So you start growing and growing and growing from there. And then it gets really, really fun when your business model, when your app, when your tool takes off. So as you may or may not know, I do have a what I call passive profits laser coaching. Many have taken me up on this. I'm having a lot of fun with the current clients that I'm working with already. And basically what it is, it's one-on-one laser coaching, and it's done in a style where it's unlimited 15-minute calls with me. So it's not like we stay on the phone for an hour or 45 minutes. It's just, what's your question? How do you implement it? And then do it. You have a homework assignment every single time, and you complete that homework assignment, and then you can book your next session with me. And then in between, you can ask questions via email for support. And it really is cool because it works out to be less than $84 a month, which to have unlimited support from someone who has been in the game for 10 years, it's very, very valuable. You also get notes and the recording of all the calls to refer back to if you ever need, and it's all nicely on one sheet. You don't even have to do anything. It's all done for you, and you can always refer back. You can even write little notes in yourself if you want. And that's at debdrum.com/laser coaching. So go ahead and check that out because that would be really, really fun to work with you. You don't have to know anything about software in order to make a tool. In fact, it's funny because I went to school for marketing and information systems. So I'm one of the few people who actually do what I went to school for. And then right out of college, I was kind of the right-hand woman to a CEO, and we built a SaaS from scratch. And I was a part of not coding, but a lot of like usability and more like, put this button here, this function should be on this page. So I had the training already before I started building software. And I never thought that I would build software until I found out how you don't have to be a programmer, and you can actually find people to either give them projects to do for your software, or you can develop your own kind of like software company where you actually have employees, or maybe the developer has some stake in the business, whatever it is. And that's stuff to talk about too, because when you build software, depending how big you grow, you always have to kind of consider like, what about next year when this, and this updates? So you're going to have someone to either support that, or you're going to have maybe a limited time software, or maybe luckily a software that might work forever without any updates. Who knows? Who knows what will happen, but you always have to kind of keep these things in mind. And having some kind of like easy tool or easy calculator, either as an opt-in to use on your website, or they don't have to opt in, but they get the results when they provide their email. It's kind of like something you've probably stumbled on, some kind of quiz software, right? You answer all like the quiz questions and then you don't get the result until you give your email address at the very end. And here you are, you already invested like 10 minutes into this quiz. You're like, fine, let me, do that. So that's just another like idea of how you could collect these emails, as I put it, in a non-threatening way. Oh, great question, Linnea. Linnea says she got here late. Is this coaching for software only, or could it be used for general book publishing? Oh yeah, it could be used for anything. I'm just kind of coupling this with software, the topic of software today, but you can use this for anything that you want, for sure. Like, I would love to get some software clients. Right now, it's mostly like content people and publishers and authors, which is great. And as I said earlier, content can come in many forms and fashion. So content can come in the form of tools, because you can put content in a tool and still, do everything that I talked about here today. There's even ways that you can get tools that are kind of like already made, and all you need to do is put your custom information into it. So you don't even have to get a programmer, which is really, really cool and very lucrative. So that is it for today. Again, that's debdrum.com/laser coaching for either software or any content publishing online business needs. I look forward to working with you. For anyone who gets in. Again, it's very simple. There's not too many more details than this, and it's about laser coaching. It's you get 1 year and it's unlimited, and it's 15-minute calls. We hop on Zoom, we chat for a little bit. I'm like, right to the point. What do you need? Here's how I help. You take action, and if you need some support in between, I'm there for you. And like I said, it's less than $84 a month, and you get all the recordings as well. So it's highly, highly valuable. Very, very useful to have someone in your corner when you're trying to figure stuff out and you're like not wanting to reach out on Facebook and get a million different opinions. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you on the next live session. Bye-bye.